Taking of the word with Srila Prabhupada's transcendental book distribution in diverse national farm communities. Srila Prabhupada 2025 Christmas Marathon upcoming. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please have the book. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. Yet, so we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, text number 20. Yet saṅkulaṁ hari-padānati-mātra-dṛṣṭair vaidūrya-mārakata-hema-mayair vimānaiḥ yeṣāṁ bṛhat-kaṭi-taṭāḥ smita-śobhi-mukhyaḥ Kṛṣṇa ātmanām na rajaḥ ādadhur utsmaya-ādyaiḥ saṅkulaṁ hari-padānati-mātra-dṛṣṭair vaidūrya-mārakata-hema-mayair vimānaiḥ. No audio apparently. There's no audio. So, verdict. yeṣāṁ bṛhat-kaṭi-taṭāḥ smita-śobhi-mukhyaḥ. Sorry. yeṣāṁ bṛhat-kaṭi-taṭāḥ smita-śobhi-mukhyaḥ kṛṣṇātmanāṁ rajaḥ ādadhur let me tell that again, sorry. Kṛṣṇātmanāṁ ādadhur utsmayādyaiḥ saṅkulaṁ hari-padānati-mātra-dṛṣṭair vaidūrya-mārakata-hema-mayair vimānaiḥ yeṣāṁ bṛhat-kaṭi-taṭāḥ smita-śobhi-mukhyaḥ kṛṣṇātmanāṁ rajaḥ utsmayādyaiḥ. please repeat.
Saṅkulaṁ hari-padānati-mātra-dṛṣṭair.
Saṅkulaṁ hari-padānati-mātra-dṛṣṭair.
Vaidūrya-mārakata-hema-mayair vimānaiḥ.
vaidūrya-mārakata-hema-mayair vimānaiḥ.
yeṣāṁ bṛhat-kaṭi-taṭāḥ smita-śobhi-mukhyaḥ.
yeṣāṁ bṛhat-kaṭi-taṭāḥ smita-śobhi-mukhyaḥ.
kṛṣṇātmanāṁ rajaḥ ādadhur utsmaya-ādyaiḥ.
kṛṣṇātmanāṁ rajaḥ ādadhur utsmaya-ādyaiḥ.
saṅkulaṁ hari-padānati-mātra-dṛṣṭair.
vaidūrya-mārakata-hema-mayair vimānaiḥ.
vaidūrya-mārakata-hema-mayair vimānaiḥ.
yeṣāṁ bṛhat-kaṭi-taṭāḥ smita-śobhi-mukhyaḥ.
yeṣāṁ bṛhat-kaṭi-taṭāḥ smita-śobhi-mukhyaḥ.
kṛṣṇātmanāṁ rajaḥ ādadhur utsmayādyaiḥ.
saṅkulaṁ hari-padānati-mātra-dṛṣṭair.
Saṅkulaṁ hari-padānati-mātra-dṛṣṭair.
vaidūrya-mārakata-hema-mayair vimānaiḥ.
vaidūrya-mārakata-hema-mayair vimānaiḥ.
yeṣāṁ bṛhat-kaṭi-taṭāḥ smita-śobhi-mukhyaḥ.
yeṣāṁ bṛhat-kaṭi-taṭāḥ smita-śobhi-mukhyaḥ.
kṛṣṇātmanāṁ rajaḥ utsmaya-ādyaiḥ.
kṛṣṇātmanāṁ utsmaya-ādyaiḥ.
saṅkulaṁ hari-padānati-mātra-dṛṣṭair.
saṅkulaṁ hari-padānati-mātra-dṛṣṭair.
vaidūrya-mārakata-hema-mayair vimānaiḥ.
vaidūrya-mārakata-hema-mayair vimānaiḥ.
yeṣāṁ bṛhat-kaṭi-taṭāḥ smita-śobhi-mukhyaḥ.
yeṣāṁ bṛhat-kaṭi-taṭāḥ smita-śobhi-mukhyaḥ.
kṛṣṇātmanāṁ rajaḥ ādadhur utsmaya-ādyaiḥ.
kṛṣṇātmanāṁ rajaḥ ādadhur utsmaya-ādyaiḥ.
saṅkulaṁ hari-padānati-mātra-dṛṣṭair.
saṅkulaṁ hari-padānati-mātra-dṛṣṭair.
vaidūrya-mārakata-hema-mayair vimānaiḥ.
vaidūrya-mārakata-hema-mayair vimānaiḥ.
yeṣāṁ bṛhat-kaṭi-taṭāḥ smita-śobhi-mukhyaḥ.
yeṣāṁ bṛhat-kaṭi-taṭāḥ smita-śobhi-mukhyaḥ.
kṛṣṇātmanāṁ rajaḥ ādadhur utsmaya-ādyaiḥ.
kṛṣṇātmanāṁ rajaḥ ādadhur utsmaya-ādyaiḥ. Yat that Vaikuṇṭha abode. Saṅkulam is pervaded. Haripada at the two lotus feet of Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ānati by obeisances. Matra simply. Dṛṣṭaiḥ are obtained. Vaidūrya lapis lazuli. Marakata emeralds. Hema gold. Mayaiḥ made of. Vimānaiḥ with airplanes. Yeṣāṁ of those passengers. Bṛhat large. Kaṭi-taṭāḥ hips. Smita smiling. Śobhi beautiful. Mukhyaḥ faces. Kṛṣṇa in Kṛṣṇa. ātmanām whose minds are absorbed. Na not. Rajaḥ sex desire. ādadhuḥ stimulate. utsmaya-ādyaiḥ by intimate friendly dealings. Laughing and joking. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The inhabitants of Vaikuṇṭha travel in their airplanes made of lapis lazuli, emerald and gold. Although crowded by their consorts who who have large hips and beautiful smiling faces, they cannot be stimulated to passion by their mirth and beautiful charms. Purport. In the material world, opulences are achieved by materialistic persons by dint of their labor. One cannot enjoy material prosperity unless he works very hard to achieve it. But the devotees of the Lord, who are residents of Vaikuṇṭha, have the opportunity to enjoy a transcendental situation of jewels and emeralds. Ornaments made of gold, bedecked with jewels, are achieved not by working hard, but by the benediction of the Lord. In other words, devotees in the Vaikuṇṭha world, or even in this material world, cannot be poverty-stricken, as is sometimes supposed. They have ample opulences for enjoyment, but they need not labor to achieve them. It is also stated that in the Vaikuṇṭha world, the consorts of the residents are many, many times more beautiful than we can find in the material world, even in the higher planets. It is specifically mentioned here that a woman's large hips are very attractive and they stimulate man's passion. But the wonderful feature of Vaikuṇṭha is that although the women have large hips and beautiful faces and are decorated with ornaments of emeralds and jewels, the men are so absorbed in Krishna consciousness that the beautiful bodies of women cannot attract them. In other words, there is enjoyment of the association of the opposite sex, but there is no sexual relationship. The residents of Vaikuṇṭha have a better standard of pleasure, so there is no need of sex pleasure. Om ajnana-timirandhasya jnananjana-shalakaya chakshurmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapatam yena bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utafadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sargajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagan Lalita Shri Vishakan Vatamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripasindhubhyevacha Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swaminati Namane Harijanagana Badi Jnana Karmanda Hari Prakatita Para Bhaktir Bhakti Siddhanta Kantihi Vinaya Nikara Lakshmir Nimna Medai Ragamyo Bhavijayati Vikaso Bhakti Purvo Yatindraha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminati Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyati Deshtarine Vagishaya Shivadane Lakshmir Yasa Shivakshisi Yasya Hridaya Samvitam Rasamaham Bhaje Mukam Karati Vachalam Pangam Langayate Giram Yat Kripatamaham Bande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So we see that in this material world, people are working so hard. But they're working so hard for what? They're simply working so hard to go to hell, actually. We see that the hard work of the materialist is compared to madness in the Srimad Bhagavatam. There's this verse, Nunam pramatta kurite vikarma yad indriya priti apnanoti na sadhu manya yat ātmanām. What's the line? Anyway, forgive me the last line. Can someone look it up? What's the last line? Nunam pramatta kurite vikarma yat indriya priti avranoti na sadhu manya yat ātmanām. Anyway, forgetting the last line. But we see that the Bhagavatam says, Rishabhdev says, that people are mad. Nunam pramatta kurite vikarma. Why are they crazy? People are crazy because they're performing vikarma. Nunam pramatta kurite vikarma. Asan api kleshada asadeha. I am the translation. Rishabhdev says, when a person considers sense gratification the aim of life, he certainly becomes mad after materialistic living and engages in all kinds of sinful activities. He does not know that due to his past misdeeds, he has already received a body, which although temporary is a cause of misery. Actually, the living entity should not have taken on a material body, but he has been rewarded this material body for sense gratification. Therefore, I think it not befitting an intelligent man to involve himself again in the activities of sense gratification, in which he perpetually gets material bodies one after another. So we say that Rishabhdev is saying this important point, that people are working so hard, but they're completely crazy. Right? You know, it's of course, the famous verse, Materna Krishna Paratasvatova, Metope Vadyata Krahavatana, Adanda Gopir Vishatam Tamisham Punaf Punasharvita Charvananam. That people, they have taken Materna Krishna Paratasvatova. These people, they don't understand. They were laboring so hard, but for what? Laboring so hard for simply chewing the chewed. And what enjoyment is there? How many times? How many times have they simply, Materna Krishna, the last line, Punaf Punasharvita Charvananam. They're working so hard, simply for what? For simply getting what's already been chewed, for the remnants, for the remnants of like people who have already eaten that same garbage so many times. They themselves have tried to eat this garbage so many times. They themselves have tried to enjoy this material world in so many different ways. But what is the fruit? What is the result? Unfortunately, now especially, we see that now we're born in Kali Yuga to reap the bitter to reap the bitter fruits of our miserable karmic activities. Right now, especially now, we see there is no question of enjoyment on the material platform even from the 20 years ago, I guess, or 25 years ago, I remember, as a kid, the standard of life for my parents was way better than it is for people these days. That my dad would not work as hard as the people who are working so hard right now. He's working way harder than he used to. He's still working, unfortunately. But so hard. And as time goes on, people are working harder and harder and harder, having such little time for enjoyment, even material enjoyment. They work so hard and they just give you the weekend just to have enough time so you can get a long nap and a lot of alcohol and a lot of terrible stuff, and then you get back to work on Monday, and then you worked and worked and worked and worked, and then you finally get a few days on Thanksgiving and 2 weeks during Christmas or something like that. Right? What bliss is there in such a life? And we see that those people who really want to make it big time, sometimes they have to work the hardest when most people are given time to relax. Like the entertainers, like all these people. They work harder during Christmas. They have to work harder during all these holidays. They can't be with their families anymore. Especially when all the families are expected to be there. They can't be there for basic things. So the simple point is that unless one works very hard to achieve it, they will not get material happiness. And even the so-called material happiness which people get is, what does Prahlad Maharaj say? He says, Yanmaitanadi grihamedi sukham hi tuchha. It is useless. It's completely useless. Tuchha. It's useless. What is there so nice in this material world? What kind of happiness is available for people to enjoy? It's terrible, actually. The happiness that people are striving so hard to enjoy, or working so hard, simply to get a drop of water in the ocean, in the desert, Simply to get a drop of water in the desert, how hard people are working. But that drop of water does not satisfy one's thirst, does not quench one's thirst, it simply makes you more thirsty. To make it worse, the so-called water you receive in this material world is salt water. That it's like oh no. The materials will tell you no. There's so much enjoyment. Do you not see the ocean? I can just enjoy this ocean how much ever I can. But then the more you drink salt water, what happens? You get dehydrated, the thirstier you become. So that is their enjoyment in this material world. That people are trying to enjoy, quench their thirst by drinking the ocean salt water. How will they be happy? How will they be happy? But they will never be happy by dint of all their hard labor. That's why the Bhagavatam says such people are, this is 5 things.
Camels.
And?
Asses.
Okay.
Dogs.
One more, right? We're missing some. Hogs, dogs, camels, and asses. What did we miss? Yes, we said them all, okay. Savidvara hoshtakare samsuta purusha pashuhu. Right? The Bhagavatam says these people, Savidvara hoshtakare samsuta purusha pashuhu. They're simply like hogs, dogs, camels, and asses. That's why most people that you see, we don't mean to offend anyone, but frankly, the reality is, most people that you see, you can categorize them in these 5 things. Is this guy more like a hog or more like a dog? Maybe he's a camel, maybe he's like this, maybe he's like that, right? We say that, maybe this guy is more like a hog actually. He's like, look at him, he looks like one, he eats like one, he's like, after all these things. So, or sometimes you can see that a combination. And I remember we were preaching heavily to a particular individual in Florida, Charadesha Prabhu, Janardhan Krishna Prabhu, Chandranashaya Prabhu, Matsya and myself. We were preaching very heavily to this person. And we were telling, oh, you're just, you're living like a hog, quoting this verse. And he went up to his boss and he was like, he said the same thing. He's like, and he explained this verse to his boss, and his boss was like, yeah, I think I'm more of a hog and a camel. With a little bit of dog in it, At least he's honest, But that is the next destination for these people, unfortunately. They're working like that, they'll become like that. Right? It's so sad, actually. And what to do? What is the cause, actually? When we read Bhagavad Gita, Kṛṣṇa explains to us the cause. What is the cause behind all this? Lust. Correct, that's right. Absolutely right. Arjuna asks him, Atakena prayuktoyam papam charti purushaha anitchanapi varshnaya baladevani yojitaha. He says, my dear Kṛṣṇa, what is it? What is it that drives people to perform sinful activities? Anitchanapi varshnaya. They may not even want to do it. They may not even want to do it. But you can see some people are just impelled so much in material life that they may not even want to enjoy in material life like that, or try to indulge their senses in material life like that. But something just drives them more and more, right? What is this? What is this? And then Prabhupada writes in the purport that many, that it's not the super soul which is the cause of these things, actually. Prabhupada writes that's a very important point. It's a very, very important point. It's not the super soul which is the cause. And he says, and the answer is, the question is answered by the Supreme Lord in the next verse, which is, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, Rajo Guna Samudbhavaha, Mahashana Mahapapma, Viddhina Mihavarinam. That what is this? What is it? It is lust only, Arjuna, which drives the living entity. It's lust only, Arjuna, which drives the living entity to do what? How does lust come about? When the living entity comes in contact with? No.
Mode of passion.
That's right. When the living entity comes in contact with the mode of passion. The living entity comes in contact with the mode of passion, then that lust develops. And from lust, what develops? Wrath. Prabhupada says wrath. And then it's a synonym, isn't it? But it's in a more extreme form of anger, I suppose. Wrath develops. And from wrath, what develops? Illusion develops. Bewilderment. I mean, that's dhyayato vishaya pumsa sangadesha. But Prabhupada writes in the purport that illusion develops from these things. When we come in touch with the mode of passion, and then we just get into it, right? And then lust develops, and usually from lust we just burn out into the mode of ignorance, and from the mode of ignorance we glide further and further down. So you see that and from that illusion develops. Illusion, and this illusion is false identification with the body. Kapila Deva explains in the third canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam that what is false ego? What is ahankara? What is this false ego? This false ego is a subtlest point where the living entity starts to think that matter is meant for my enjoyment. That is what false ego is. It's the subtlest point of matter. It's a subtle aspect of the material nature. With the jiva, when he comes in touch with the subtle aspect of material nature, he starts to think that matter is meant for my enjoyment. Because, by nature, the living entity is not like this. None of us by nature are like this, actually. That's why we are tatashta shakti. Actually, our nature is to be surrendered to Kṛṣṇa. We are parts and parcels of Kṛṣṇa, actually. But we see that we are covered over by lust. We're covered over by different degrees of lust. Kṛṣṇa says, what he says? He says, Dhume narhete vahner yata darshamalena cha yata garbo yatol bena vito garba satateni damavratam. That there's different degrees of lust which cover the living entity. And it's like compared, fire is covered by, mirror is sometimes covered by, and the womb is completely covered. So it's completely covered. And because these parts are completely covered, we see that the living entities, you see that always covered by different degrees of lust. We see that's why the human being is compared to the fire and the smoke. That usually, because we have this human form of life, labdvasadhu labhametam bahusam bhavante, manusham artadam anatyam apiha dhira turnam yatetana patet anamrityu yavan nishreyasaya vishaya kalu sarvadasyat. That we attain this human form of life to many, many births. Why is Kṛṣṇa saying this in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Bhagavatam? He also said the same thing in the Bhagavad Gita. This human form of life, it's just like fire covered by smoke, actually. And if you just cultivate this human form of life properly, you can reawaken your Krishna consciousness. And how can you slash this lust? Is by regulation. It's a very important point. You can slash this lust by regulation. And Prabhupada says that humans are compared to the fire covered by smoke, and the birds and beasts are compared to mirror, mirror covered by dust. And the trees, unfortunately, are compared to the womb, the garbha, because they are so covered over by lust that they're almost void of consciousness. Prabhupada writes that. But unfortunately, we also see that some people are becoming like that now. They're completely covered over, so covered over. What can you do? Sometimes I say, what can I do? We try so hard to preach to someone, bring them to Krishna consciousness, but Materna Krishna Paradasuto. They're taking a vow to remain stupid. What do you do? So just pray for them, chant Hare Krishna, then give them prasadam, leave them with a good impression. You do the best that you can. Do the best that you can. Try to give them Prabhupada's books. That'll like really cut it through. But then we say, and we are going over these points because they're very important. I'm still on the first line of the purport. First two lines of the purport. I'll go past it, but these are important points Prabhupada is making here, and we have to understand that yes, all these things. And then Krishna says, what did he say? He says, "Avritam jnanam etena jnanano nityavarina kamarupena konteya dushpuriranulenacha." He says the knowledge, because by nature our knowledge is to be a servant of Krishna, but because we have come in touch with the contact with the modes of material nature, then our knowledge is covered over. Jnanano nityavarina. Avritam jnanam etena. Our knowledge is covered over by this lust, right? Avritam jnanam etena. Jnanano nityavarina. The very enemy of lust, the very enemy of knowledge is lust. The very enemy of self-realization is lust. Jnanano nityavarina. And then he says, Kama rupena konteya. And who is this enemy? Is come in the form of lust. And how is it? It's like a fire, insatiable fire which is never quenched or satisfied. It keeps burning and burning and burning and burning. And then Krishna says after that, he says, Indriyani mano buddhir asya adhisthānam uchyate eter vimohayat yesha jnanam avritya dehinam. So we've established that who's our enemy? Where does he reside?
Intelligence, mind, senses.
All three. He's got some good points. He's got it covered really. He's a good Sankirtan leader. He's got all the major points covered. He's covered our intelligence. He's covered our senses. He's covered our mind. If he didn't cover one, we would have a much better chance in this material world. But this is a prison, my friends. And Krishna has kept a really good prison guard called Durga. Durga means?
Fortress.
What else?
Difficult to pass.
Insurpassable. Difficult to pass. She's difficult to pass. Very difficult. She's got all of it covered, isn't it? Your mind, your senses, your intelligence. What do you do? What do you do? That's why Krishna tells us, don't worry, there is hope still. What is the hope? It's regulation. That's why he said, Tasmat tvam indriyan-yahur. Tasmat tvam indriyan-yahur. Niyamya bṛhat-kaṭi-taṭāḥ. And he says, my dear Arjuna, please, you can destroy your enemy by niyamya bṛhat-kaṭi-taṭāḥ. He says by regulation you can destroy this enemy. And what is this enemy? Papmanam prachihihenam. This enemy is the very symbol of sin. Lust is a very symbol of sin, isn't it? Lust is really a symbol of sin, actually. It makes you, Prabhupada writes, it's very amazing Prabhupada. He says, I was reading this in the 9th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam in Miami with Parameshwar Prabhu. We were in the Brahmachari Bhav, as you may have expected, along with the book distribution Bhav. And in one purport, Srila Prabhupada speaks about how lust makes you crazy. One thing, anything else? What else does lust make you? When you think of a lusty woman, what's the first thing you think about? That she is? Low class? Okay. What does that mean? Lust makes you shameless. Literally, like when I was a kid, and like, when you're like 1 or 2 years old, you bear like a copen or something, and you go around the house, or like you wear your underwear or something, right? And you just go around the house. Like kids, right? That's what you do. It's not like the kids like do like wear your suit or something. They just wear whatever, and just going around. But when my parents, or I've seen this so much, when my parents would try to make me wear the clothes, they'd be like, shame, 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 They would just say shame, shame, like oh shame, shame, like let me cover myself, let me wear some pants, or let me wear a t-shirt, or let me wear a whatever, right? Oh shame, shame, it's, and in Hindi it's called nanga papa, right? And Shanti is making the offering, but nanga papa, you're like a naked baby, come on, So anyway, there's a really nice story of Bhaktisiddhanta Sarita Thakur he wrote called Naked Pencho. And if we have the time, we'll speak about Naked Pencho. But he said, oh, shame, 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 shame. I have to cover myself. I have to wear my clothes. So we see that nowadays the lust makes you shameless. And you say shame, shame. Right? If you see all these Matajis the way they're dressed, you should tell them shame, shame. Right? Wear your clothes. It's like Sundays you go to the university, it's like going to a strip club basically. Am I lying? Unfortunately not. And our devotees are so crazy, they send their daughters to college. Are you nuts? See, I asked that to one devotee, are you crazy sending your daughter to university? Straight up to her face, I asked her. Anyway, too materially absorbed, I guess. But, it's insane. It's completely nuts. Shame, shame. You should tell them shame, shame. But, we see that lust makes you shameless. And we see this, and Prabhupada writes this point in terms with Pururava and Yayati. Yayati and Devayani. Yayati and Devayani. It says that Yayati became so shameless that he went up to his son and asked his son, my dear son, give me your youth so I can enjoy sex life with your mother. Not once, not twice, but so many times. He went up to so many of his sons. And the only person who denied was who? Very important person.
One who didn't deny it?
One who denied it. He said, I'm not going to give it to you. No, he kept getting youth, but there's one person who's specifically mentioned.
Oh, because he had a task.
Yeah, what was a very important task? I'm forgetting his name too. So I'm sorry. I'm not, But I can tell you the importance is that he is the ancestor of Kṛṣṇa. He's a progenitor of the Yadu dynasty. So I'm forgetting his name. I forget. I'm sorry, man. But I'm unable to remember his name. But you see that he became he said no. I think his name was Puru or something, if I'm not wrong. But I think his name was Puru. If I'm listening to the super soul in my heart, But it makes you shameless. How can you go up to your son and say, give me your youth, become an old man so I can enjoy sex with your mother? Isn't it crazy, isn't it? It's completely crazy. But lust makes you crazy. That's the nature of lust. And you see, unfortunately, people are suffering so much because they are enjoying material prosperity so hard. And why are they doing all this? And ultimately, you see they're suffering due to a lack of sense control, due to a lack of regulation. People are, right, that's Puru, right? Anyway, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. That we see that people are suffering because of this. They don't have any regulation. That's why the solution is evam bhudve param bhudva samsabhyatmanam ātmanām jahi shatru mahabāho kama rupa durasadam. One must awaken themselves and understand their spiritual situation with transcendental intelligence. And slay this enemy. Jahi shatru mahabāho. Arjuna, please be careful. Jahi shatru mahabāho. With your strong arms, you're very strong. Jahi shatru maha. Conquer this enemy. Jahi shatru, they're the same. Jahi and jata are the same words. Jahi shatru mahabāho. Conquer your enemy. Jahi shatru mahabāho. Kama rupa durasadam. This very, very unsurpassable enemy known as lust. You must know. And how do we know this? Tattva-vittu mahabāho guna karma vibhagayoho guna guneshu vartanta iti matvana sajjate. That tattva-vittu, no, understand this, understand tattva, understand this truth, understand Kṛṣṇa in reality, understand the absolute truth described in Shastra. Tattva-vittu mahabāho guna karma vibhagayoho. Do not be addicted to sense gratification. Guna guneshu vartanta. Even all the activities that you're performing, never think that it's meant for your sense gratification. It's a very important point. Now moving on to the other part of the purport, where we see that the devotees of the Supreme Lord, they don't care for all these opulences. Tyaktva turnamate ashesha mandalapati shrenim sadatuchavat bhutva dina ganeshako karanaya kopina kantashito gopi bhavarasamritabdila hari kalola magno muhur vande rupa sanatano raghuyugo shri jiva gopalakam. That we see that they gave up all this so-called enjoyment and just gave it up. And Prabhupada says devotees are, you may not see it, but they're very opulent. Right? He's saying that in the purport. He's saying it right here. He says that they have ample opulences for enjoyment. They do not need to labor to achieve them. And he also says, ornaments made of gold bedecked with jewels. Okay. In other words, devotees in Vaikuṇṭha world or even in this material world cannot be poverty-stricken as is sometimes supposed. Right? And we can understand this, that it may say, oh no, actually some devotees are poor. Right? Some devotees are poor. We see, some devotees may just not have opulences or whatever. But Prabhupada gives the answer to this. He says that during this artificial starvation committed by a very big demon known as Winston Churchill in India, that time he made an artificial famine in Bengal by stopping, and he did some crazy thing. And so many people were just completely starving. And to buy, let's just say, how much does it cost to buy a bag of rice? Wow, really? Charu? Someone should know. Miss Accountant? Come on. Okay. $20, okay. So like,
Big bag, I think it's
okay, $30, right? $30 for a bag of rice. But then, yeah, $30 for one bag of rice. But then Prabhupada said that because it was during that time, then one bag of rice became like $300. Very few people could afford that. It's a bag of rice. But then he went up to the Gaudiya Math and he asked the devotees, so, hey guys, I'm willing to help you, whatever you need. Like, oh no, we're cool. Completely fine. Yeah. Prabhupada went up to his godbrothers and he's like, oh my God, it's like a famine, right? It's a famine, no, we're fine. We have everything. Krishna provides. Then once Kirtanananda Prabhu on Maharaj at the time and Akshayananda Prabhu, they were making the Sunday feast. They were cooking for the Sunday feast, and the description of a pure devotee is that he's very grave, and gravity means
you don't know what it's like.
Exactly. Gravity means you don't know what someone is thinking. That's what Rupa Goswami explains to us in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And Prabhupada, he was very grave, and he went up to the kitchen and he saw they had a 4-burner stove and they had a kitchen cabinet, but they had huge shelves which had so much. They say, how many grams of rice, how many grams of potato, how many grams of sugar, how many grams of this, and they had 100, how many kilograms or something like that, right? That's usually the measurement. What is it, 100 pounds, right? How many pounds of rice, how many pounds of potatoes, how many pounds of sugar, how many pounds of this? He was asking them, and they were cooking, and they told Prabhupada, yeah, we have 100 pounds of this, 80 pounds of that, and he's like, okay. Then he goes down, and then they were both wondering, why is Prabhupada asking us this? And then Prabhupada is giving the Sunday feast class, and he says that, in our temple, we have 100 pounds of rice, 100 pounds of sugar, 100 pounds of potato, 100 pounds of this. No one of you has 100 pounds of anything. And he says that wow, who would have ever thought, But that's true, isn't it? You go up to anyone's house, how many people have as much boga as we have? Not even close. How many of us have bank accounts with a lot of money in it? We have unlimited boga. Free. It's crazy. It's completely crazy, guys. And look, just see, how many people can have the quality of life that we have? How many people can take a nap every day in the middle of the day? There's opulence. I mean, Jonathan can't. It's not my fault, But it's not. But how many of us can do that? And you were talking about that. You and Chandan were discussing that in your, chill out, in the farm video, right? You guys were having that podcast, right? Where is it? Where is that next episode? I was waiting for it. I thought you guys are going to release one every week. So we're putting Ali the monk on the spot here. But okay. Marathon, right, that's true. That, but I love listening to these, these podcasts that Prabhus are putting out. And Chandan was saying that, like, will you own a house? No, but you will have a house, right? He was making that point. Right? Will you own? I don't own any cars, but I can drive like 7 cars, whichever one I like, right? Whichever one I like. All right, bro. Let's take the Nityananda. Matter of fact, let's take TSKP. We're going to the airport. Let's take the Mercedes. What's it called? Mazda. No, we also have the Mercedes, Metris. How many people can have that, right? And even for those who have it, how hard should they work to live a life like that? Or no, I was just born into it, dude. Like, you slaved like a dog in your past life to get this kind of opulence, boss. Seriously. And another example, Kamalini Mataji and Apurva Prabhu. They get food stamps. They're just like on the level of income. They're not like wealthy at all, but they have you open up Apurva Prabhu's fridge. Oh my God, dude! Like, it's insane. It's completely crazy. Wait till you open the freezer. My God, like that's where you get all the Maha sweets from a few months ago. Yeah, literally 1999 Janmashtami Barfi from New York. Oh, but but they have. But you see, the boga that they get is top notch. That's how we understand this statement Srila Prabhupada is making. There is no question of scarcity for a devotee. Right? It's just automatically taken care of. I've never in my life had to wonder, like, oh, what's going to happen? Ever since I joined. I knew, even in New York, I knew I was going to get that saltless khichdi every day, no matter what. I knew I was going to get that. But, we knew that Kṛṣṇa always provides. Kṛṣṇa provides. Kṛṣṇa always provides. But we should have that faith. Why? Because if you put everything in God's hand, you'll see God's hand everything. That's the point. If you put everything in God's hand, you'll see God's hand everything. That amount of faith needs to be there for brahmacharis, for grihasthas, for vanaprasthas, for sannyasis. Right? But we see in the brahmachari life, it's practically visible. It's really hot or suffering, and then someone comes out from Patel is like, oh, bro, can I buy you guys a lassi? Like, absolutely, I want 4. We want 4. Like, all right, they go and buy you. Like, can I get you guys can you get us a sugar cane juice? Yeah, we take down the sugar cane juice. Like, Kṛṣṇa always provides, no matter what. You go into a grocery store, bro, can I make a humble request? All your burger comes like, it's crazy, right? You go into a hotel, like, oh, bro, can I make a humble request? Like, yeah, sure, boom, get a room. And once I was driving through and I really had to use the restroom, and there were no like truck stops on the side. So I just stopped by Motel 6. I went in there. I spoke to the Gujarati guy, like, bro, I need to like take a bath in order for me to do my next puja. Can you give me like a half hour? And he's like, yeah, sure, bro, go out, knock yourself out. I used the restroom. I came out. I gave a Bhagavad Gita. This guy was like, maha reverence. He's like, oh, bro, thank you for coming in, like, blessing the toilet, I guess. That's why I came. I was like, all right, sure. He was like, all right, okay, cool. And I was like, to tell us, like, what do I need to do? I said, you need to read this Bhagavad Gita, every day, and like, you need to chant Hare Krishna. Don't send your kids to like, this karmi slaughterhouse. Like, I let him have it. He's like, oh, thank you, man, thank you. I really need that. But it was awesome. Kṛṣṇa always provides. Huh? Diesel. That's the next step, right?
No, we got it. Remember?
Which one?
The CC.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, we can go to Lagrange. Meet Bhakti Mohini Mataji's son. Get like a full tank on your diesel. How many cars you guys have? Let's fill it up. No problem. Gujarati love. Kṛṣṇa always provides. We never even think about it. Why? Why? Because the philosophy is simple, Prabhus. If you have $1 million, all your $10 problems are solved. That's all. It's a very simple philosophy. If you have $1 million, all your $10 problems are solved. And what is this problems that we don't even have problems, realistically speaking. We have no problems. We just have to surrender to Kṛṣṇa. If we make Krishna's problems our problems, then we're killing it. If we make Prabhupada's problems our problems, we're killing it. What is the antidote to personal ambition? Prabhupada's ambition. No matter how big your personal ambition is, Prabhupada's ambitions are always bigger. Right? Prabhupada's ambitions are always bigger. How many books you want to distribute?
Unlimited?
Twice doubled it. Prabhupada is saying double. Prabhupada, what the hell? Bro, I want to get everyone on this planet. What about the other planetary systems? Prabhupada's God is no matter what. Right? Prabhupada's God is no matter what. So the antidote to personal ambition is Prabhupada ambition. We should have that kind of ambition. And then, we'll be, then we won't have these urges and the senses and this and that. I mean, you work so hard during the marathon, it's like, dude, I need to just eat a little bit. I need to knock out right now, otherwise I'm going to die. It's like, all these things, they just go away. It's like they vanish, at least at the time that we're engaging in Tīvra Bhakti. So the solution to all our problems is Tīvra Bhakti, actually. We don't have any problems other than that. And we say that the women in the heavenly planets are so beautiful. And and we at least in this in the material world, especially where we have tricks, right? You see a beautiful woman. I was telling Rishi Kumar Prabhu, he's like, yeah, Tampa or like Florida, it's like it's this and that. I told him, if you see a beautiful woman, every time I see a beautiful woman in this while distributing books, I just actually think of the Bhagavad Gita and the city of 9 gates, right? And then there's all kinds of crap coming out of like all the different holes in the body. Right? The stuff coming out of your eyes, stuff coming out of your nose, stuff coming out of your mouth, stuff coming out of your ears, front and back, downstairs. I mean, like, it's horrible. All kinds of horrible things come out. And ultimately, what is sex life? It's nothing but stinky and sticky business. Nothing else. It's stinky and sticky business. It's not so amazing. If you actually were to think about it, right? Like Jnanino Nitya Vairina. It's crazy. This is our eternal enemy, Jnanino Nitya Vairina. He's stated in all these things. But then Prabhupada writes in one purport, I was just reading it this morning, he says that when you engage lust and wrath in the service of the Supreme Lord, then it becomes completely transformed and you can go back home, back to Godhead, back to it. It's insane. So if we become lusty to fulfill Prabhupada's goals and desires, if we become lusty to fulfill Krishna's desires, then we'll be happy. We won't have to worry about all these things. Push yourself. No matter what you think your biggest day is, push yourself. Consistently push yourself. And every time the Prabhupada Marathon is a time where we can see that impossible is a word in the fourth dictionary. Right? Every time, there's no way we can distribute some books right now. It's possible. It's certainly possible. We just need to have that faith. We just need to have that faith that Krishna always comes through. Krishna always provides. And we see, yes, and Prabhupada is writing in this purport that they enjoy the association with the opposite sex, but there is no sexual pleasure. It's only inconceivable for us now. But we can see sometimes we get a glimpse of it that so when you're the exalted devotees like Palini Mataji, Kamalini Mataji, with exalted devotees like that, then there's no question of like, oh come on, It's like I guess we get a glimpse of it like that. I mean, I don't want to delve more into it because it might get into the realm of speculation. But we get a glimpse of it like that, where people are so pure that whoa. But still we maintain, like a respectful distance, motherly, all these things. Like we don't like touch them or anything like that, And anyway, we don't, in the karmic world, like the mothers always want to hug their children. But I remember Kalki was telling his mom, I'm a monk. Don't hug me, mom. Don't hug me, mom. I don't do that anymore. It's like, so we understand there's a small glimpse of that. And why, Yanmaitanandi means Sukami Tucham. This is useless. Sex life is useless. What is so blissful about sex life? It's stinky and sticky business. You have to work so hard for it. And what to speak of what comes out after sex life? Dude, it's hell. It's moochy. It's like straight up moochy for like so long. And then it cries in the middle of the night. Janardhan Krishna Prabhu was telling me about one person who met with his family on Janmashtami after a long time, and they're all arguing that he's with his wife strictly for sense gratification. And he was like, no, all of you are wrong because I literally don't have any time for sense gratification because I'm going to school as a nurse and I'm working in 2 full-time jobs and I don't have time to sleep. He's right. I mean, it's terrible. I don't mean to laugh at him, but he's right. It's horrible, right? It's terrible. There is no time for sense gratification even. That's how terrible this material world has become. And it's never what it seems to be, Prabhu. Maya means that which is not. It's never what it seems to be. And it always seems like, oh, dude, if I was with that girl. And what's crazy is I've had that experience. I was always saying, I would like ditch my old girlfriend. I was saying, if I was with that girl, get the new girlfriend. Still, it's miserable. I was saying, what the heck? Maybe I just got the wrong one. And it's insane. Isn't it? It's completely crazy. No, maybe keep both of them at the same time. It's even worse. It's insane. It's just completely nice. Or maybe 3. Worse. It's terrible. So we just have to understand that that's material life. It's terrible. No matter what it seems. And you and I were discussing it in hair-splitting detail, and we analyzed and realized that the minute we engage in sex life, our material life went to hell. Right? The quality of our life, material life, it just went straight to hell. The amount of anxiety, the amount of, all this craziness which comes from indulging in sex life, we cannot handle it actually. It's not meant for us. It's meant for, the only person who can handle sex life is Kṛṣṇa. And even he sometimes performs transcendental suffering leelas. Prabhupada writes in the Bhagavatam that we can learn from Lord Rama how much a person suffers when he gets married. That's one of the reasons. Seriously. I didn't say it. Hey! Satyam! Absolute truth! That's what I'm talking about, boys. That's confirmation from the Supreme Lord. Thank you, Kṛṣṇa. So we see this. We see that this is samsara vasana. We are entangled in these vasanas of samsara. But the solution to these samsara vasanas is for us to get into Kṛṣṇa's samsara vasana. There's a beautiful string of verses in the bṛhat-kaṭi-taṭāḥ starting with samsara. This is verse samsara vasana in it. Guru Maharaj speaks about it in a lecture called Don't Be Discouraged, God Loves You. What an amazing lecture. But in that he speaks about this, Kṛṣṇa's samsara. If you get into Kṛṣṇa's samsara vasana, like Kṛṣṇa's family, like what's the family politics? Rupa Goswami, like, forget all these Upanishads. I want to hear about the family gossip in Kṛṣṇa's house. Like, what is Rohini saying about? That's amazing. We can be that's what we should aim for. That is real samsara vasana. You want real drama? It's up there, boss. It's not here. It's terrible. Ananda chinmaya rasa atmataya manasu yapranam pratipadam smaratam upetya. Leelayatena bhuvanani chet ajashram govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. The pastimes of Kṛṣṇa, they triumphantly dominate anything in this material world. They triumphantly dominate anything in this material world. So we should understand that is what we should aim for. Therefore, for them, sex, what the hell sex, bro? Like, I'm with Kṛṣṇa. Kandarpa koti kamaniya vishesha shobham. Right? I'm with Kṛṣṇa. Come on. Why? It's tuchcha. It is useless. There's no happiness. There's no joy in the sex life. It's nothing but suffering. And to live with a woman for at least 25 years, I could not do it. I'm just saying, it's painful. It's just like, dude, it's causes. Even to be around my own family for a few minutes, it's like, dude, I've had enough, man. That's it. Seriously, I've had enough. I'm going to the basement and being with my bros right now. It's terrible. It's terrible. But if we have to do it, we have to do it with the proper understanding. We should keep things in perspective. I'm not saying anything out of Shastra. Shastra says this. That's why. Can I quote a really controversial verse? Is that cool? Okay. So this is a verse. It's in the Mukundamala Stotra, which is not there in the BBT edition. Whoa, come on, you guys gave me permission. So the Mukundamala Stotra, and it's not there in the BBT edition. It's there in another edition. Sorry. Can I still quote this verse? Okay. So Kulashekar Alvar says, "Mame stritvam machame dasa bhavo mamurkhartvam ma kudesheshu janmaha mityā-dṛṣṭair machame syat kadachin jato Vishnu bhakto bhavami." This is my dear Lord, please give me the one benediction that no matter what, I never take birth as a woman. Mame stritvam machame dasa bhava. May I never take birth as someone who has dasa bhava, completely who does not have any intelligence. Machame dasa bhava mityā-dṛṣṭair machame syat kadachin. Let me not have mityā-dṛṣṭi, terrible illusion of thinking that I can enjoy this material world. But my only desire is jato Vishnu bhakto bhavami. So we worship women, we respect them, but we try to maintain as much distance as possible. And that's a very smart move to make. And if we make that, then sex pleasure is insignificant. We understand this. You simply give up sex, how amazing is your life? But you simply give up sex for Kṛṣṇa. That's the point. You give up sex for Kṛṣṇa. But then those who are getting married, Kṛṣṇa says, Dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamasmi bhartashama. A sex life should only be for procreation, bringing Kṛṣṇa conscious children. We need a lot of them. We're going to need a lot of those kids to come through, like Jaishnav and some other amazing devotees. That sex, that act of sex that the parents of devotees have produced is devotional service. So we are not condemning that sex life. but we're condemning the material enjoyment. Just give me one more minute. I just want to say one more point, please. Please. Prabhupada writes in the Bhagavad Gita, he says that when the service attitude is transformed into an enjoying mentality, then the living entities become covered over by lust. So we should be very careful of not letting our service attitude get covered over by enjoying mentality. It's very important. Then we'll be, Krishna will protect us. We should pray every day that we don't fall down every moment. And once Brahmananda Prabhu was with Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was performing his pastimes of disappearing from this world. Yes, Srila Prabhupada, will we come with you to this? Will we be with you in the spiritual world? He said yes. All of you will be with me in the spiritual world, and all the denizens of Vaikuṇṭha are flying in the. He quotes this verse, not exactly the Sanskrit, but he quotes this verse like all the denizens flying in the lapis lazuli airplanes will be flying and saying, wow, just see how amazing the love between the spiritual master and the disciple is, that they're all the way here in the spiritual world. So, Pranamami Sada Prabhupada Padam. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, if there's any questions or comments, we could take them now. Yes.
You quoted this verse as far as the different degrees of lust covering the the embryo in the womb
Can you turn the camera, please?
and the tree. So I probably asked this question before, but I'm asking again because I'm so dull-headed.
Same here.
So Prabhupada in one class says that the monkeys in India, they're a nuisance because there's so much passion. Then he makes like point that a sleeping man, he doesn't bother anybody. He's just and he said the monkey is more harmful than the sleeping man, right? But then it's also said that, like you said, the mode of ignorance is more detrimental than mode of passion. So it's very confusing because Prabhupada says in one instance that this mode of passion is very detrimental because you cause so much suffering to others, while with ignorance you're kind of just like causing suffering to yourself. So like which is worse?
So there's two types of lazy, and there's two types of foolish: lazy foolish and active foolish. Active foolish are worse than lazy foolish, right? And from what I've read in Prabhupada's purports, it seems like those living entities which are in the bodies of cows, they take a birth as human being in the mode of goodness. Those living entities which are the body of a lion takes birth as a human being in the mode of passion. And those living entities in the body of monkeys take birth in the mode of ignorance. So the monkeys seem to be falling in the category of foolish, lazy. So it's active foolish. So that's their situation, active foolish. They're active foolish, but they're in the mode of ignorance. So in the mode of ignorance, and they're performing more ignorant activities, but it's still nonetheless ignorance. It's not like, for example, lust is a transformation of the motive.
Passion.
And then wrath is the transformation of the motive. Wrath, it's not like you just knocked out, right? People perform terrible activities. Religion of peace people, in the name of, religion of peace, they get really wrathful against Vaishnavas and kill many Vaishnavas and destroy many temples. It's a mode of ignorance, 100%, but it's active ignorance. Is that okay? Yeah. Anything else, Prabhu? Yes, Ali Krishna.
You're talking about Kamalini-Mataji and Prabhu and how they're provided for.
Can you please see the moon-like face of Ali?
No, it's okay. The other example is that how when she was in that flood in the car.
Yeah, my God.
And then
Yeah.
She.
Dude, I mean, I was driving them to Apurva Prabhu and Kamalini Mataji. When I went to meet Tripurari Maharaj, I was driving them in the car, and I was driving. I'm like, dude, I'm going to be very, very cautious when I'm driving this car, no matter what. But I feel fearless because Kṛṣṇa literally saved Kamalini Mataji from there. I'm like, dude, I'm good. Who you got, Kamalini Mataji? I'm good. She.
So many times.
I mean, so many times. So heart attack. So many things. So many times. Even just recently, she just tripped and she fell in a place where her ribs would have broken, but she was wearing so many layers that nothing happened to her. Dude, I'm telling you, Kṛṣṇa loves Kamalini Mataji. And Apurva Prabhu told me that once Kamalini Mataji, she was having pneumonia, and then he was sleeping, and it was like 1 or 2 in the morning, and Radha Golokananda came to him in his dream and said, "You need to go and take Kamalini to the hospital right now." He's like, he told me that he just jumped out of his bed and took her to the hospital and found out that there was pneumonia, and she got cured. Wow. I mean, who's more glorious, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's a good.
like that's insane.
But no, but then you saw like after that happened and her car was lost and like how much was raised.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
them
So they had
to
like
get a new
5
car.
different fundraising goals. Like the first goal was 5,000, and then like the minute we reached 4,900, the goal became 10,000. The minute we reached 10,000, the goal became 15,000. And again, the minute we reached 50, the goal became 26,000. I was like, dude, what the hell is happening? But yeah, Krishna
Just
provides
instantly they're provided for everything you need.
everything.
Here you go.
Krishna just, you just stay there. And I was thinking there's this really ecstatic verse. Tatvam prasida bhagavan kurumaya-nate vishnu kripam paramakaraneka kalutvam samsara sagara nimagna mananta dhinam udhartam arhasi hare purushottamasi. I will not do justice to this verse if I don't read the exact translation. And when I heard this story of Mata, this is the first thing which came to my mind. This verse. Krishna, please let me find it. Okay, so look at this. O Supreme Lord Vishnu, you are the most compassionate. So now please show me your favor and bestow your mercy upon this helpless soul. O unlimited Lord, kindly uplift this wretch who is drowning in the ocean of material existence. O Lord Hari, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when she's swimming in that terrible flood, she said, Krishna save me, Krishna save me, Krishna save me. I mean, how, dude, she's like 71 or 72 and she's swimming so, like how strong Krishna made her body to like swim through that. It's insane. But this verse is exactly that. Krishna took her out of this ocean of material suffering in the ocean of this flood. Is crazy. Yeah, just bro.
Just share some on the same point of Tivrana Bhakti and like depending fully on Krishna. Just to share, we spoke to Ādadhur Prabhu.
Yeah, this morning. That's why 3 of us went in Mangalarti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, he was saying in the context of himself, like he's a pilgrim. He's a
Way of the pilgrim.
He's a sage.
Way of the sage.
So he's always
moving on.
But he's saying like how he's like addicted to this lifestyle. He doesn't like know anything outside of the lifestyle of being nomadic. And he sees like people around him and the way they're living, and he thinks it's so strange.
Yeah.
And he's very attached to this lifestyle because he feels such intimacy with Krishna when he's dependent on Krishna like that. And that could be applied in all spheres. And like when we're having difficulties in book distribution, difficulties meaning like impossible tasks.
Yeah.
Difficulties in married life, trying to make a family work, when we're like in such difficult situations, then we're dependent on Krishna, and we should feel attachment for being in that difficulty because you feel the most intimacy with Krishna when you're going through those difficulties.
Prabhupada, once a devotee told Sri Prabhupada, these devotees here, they're really struggling, they're doing all these things, and Prabhupada said, it's my great pleasure when I see you struggle for my service. So, I was, struggle, man. Like, it was a struggle. Sometimes it was a struggle, right? This past in the matter, it was a struggle. It was a struggle. But the best thing to do, especially in the marathon or taking lunch, is to watch Prabhupada memories. My God, that's the nectar, But while I was struggling, I saw this. I saw this, and I was thinking that, oh man, Krishna, we're struggling, but Krishna is. I said, Krishna, you're enjoying my struggling. Fine. Ashra Shiva Padaratan Punasama. All right, you want to see me struggle? Let's do it. But I'll struggle only for you. I won't struggle for anyone, Krishna. I'll struggle for my Guru. I'll struggle for Sri Prabhupada. I'll struggle for the Panchatattva. I'll struggle for Shri Radha Govinda. But I won't struggle for anyone else other than that. I'll only struggle for you. I'm exclusively. What's the biggest inspiration for being a brahmachari is then, that we're saving ourselves to be exclusively enjoyed by Krishna. We don't want any agent of the material energy to touch us. This is only for Krishna. It's like a chaste woman. She only wants to be enjoyed by her husband. So yes, I'm very insignificant in all this, but whatever insignificant pleasure I can give to anyone, I want to give it to Krishna. This is for Krishna. This body is for Krishna. This mind is for Krishna. This entire existence is for Krishna. Because he's the supreme enjoyer. I only want to be enjoyed by him and him alone. that, and and even that struggle, you're great. But I want to give extreme pleasure to the Guru Parampara every moment of my life. That should be, yes, yeah.
We'll take some time.
Okay.
It's okay. We'll take some time. It's okay. So is this Akila Dar? I don't know if he was making that point also. Akila Dar Prabhu was making that point this morning. We were saying, Prabhu, you're taking such austerities, that you're going so, you're traveling still alone. You're so old and you're still doing this. And he was like, you don't understand. When I go out and I do this, the special rasa that I have, that I'm experiencing with Krishna and Krishna's protection upon me, and how I'm seeing my dependence on Krishna more, there's nothing more I want, Prabhu.
Yeah.
And I would never stop it.
He said Prabhu just like Akila Dar Prabhu.
Yeah, and it's that kind of hit me a little bit hard, because sometimes you think, oh man, that's so austere to do, I don't want to do it. But then we forget, it's like, oh, wait a second, those difficult times that we go through is what is the nectar.
Yeah.
And some people want to avoid
heck
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
People want to avoid that.
Yeah.
People want to avoid that because
Sorry.
people want to avoid that. People want to avoid that. So, but, it's just like we're starting this whole thing for Varnashram. People want to avoid the difficulty that comes in the beginning. It's really difficult. And you go through so much stress. You got to make decisions that impacts the whole thing in the future. And you're sitting there like, oh my God, dude, I'm 27. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And we're just, but it's it's really, really, really nectar, and that relationship you develop with Krishna.
Yeah.
People don't understand.
Yeah.
And so actually this mood to just completely depend on Krishna, whether you're a grihasta, whether you're a brahmachari, whatever the heck you are.
Yeah.
To just go and do it. Yeah, there's a lot of risk, but I want to
Exactly.
do it for Krishna, and to do that with full knowledge and not forget that.
Yeah.
And really go out, and you're doing that on books distribution, and we're doing that. So just to transfer that over, and it's a big risk. We're going in the middle of freaking nowhere. We don't know who's going to come and what's going to happen, but we're taking a big risk.
Because Prabhupada says so.
Yeah, Prabhupada said, our Guru said so, and we should do it.
Yeah.
And if it fails, no problem. You
No
never
problem.
fail. There's no failure.
There's no failure.
There's no failure, but you'll be able to relish looking back and actually looking into those austerities and going, wow, I really surrendered to Krishna.
Yeah.
And there's no higher nectar than that to depend on Krishna. And then see Krishna, how he's acting in all those situations where you're helpless. You're like, what the heck are we meant to do now? And Krishna just comes through. Or it doesn't come through sometimes, so-called, but still you can
But
see
he
Krishna
still comes through.
Yeah. Like you're saying, there's never a day where we don't eat.
Yeah.
There's never a day where we can't do some things. So, it's just like my experience in Krishna consciousness also. It's like the more you spend doing those hard times, the more you see, I don't have to greed over things.
Yeah.
Like if I need something, Krishna will provide
Krishna totally provide it.
I don't need to try to hoard it right now. And it's just like to cultivate that and to see that you have to go through the austerity, you have to go through the hardship, or you can't become a pure devotee. I'm sorry, it's just like that's the
that's the price you have to pay.
You have to pay
that's
that
the price you have to pay. Like Krishna wants to see that. Krishna wants to see us really go through. That's why Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur called it the great fire of ordeal. Krishna wants to see us go through it. That is the way you'll attain pure Krishna consciousness. That is the way. How is gold made? Is it fanned and kissed or something? No, what does it have? We have to put it through so much heat, right, to get it pure, right? Same.
What is that? Hrishikesh Maharaj said that now that we've conquered the it was the Russian. They kind of the wall fell and
Now there's no ecstasy.
Where's the ecstasy?
Yeah,
So
now there's no ecstasy.
the ecstasy is in
In
the mission,
and we never have to get out of this. You know why it's fun, Prabhu? I always, why it's fun? You know what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita? You know why this is fun? Jayosmi vivasayosmi. I am adventure. Krishna says it. So it's a great transcendental adventure, right? And we're being a part of it. And so many people are like, how is the money going to come? How is the money going to come? Where is it going to happen? Well, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, text number 11, what does Krishna say? Sahayagya prajashishva purovacha prajapatihi anena prashayishyadvam eshavashishva kamaduk. He says, in the beginning of creation, what did the Lord do? He sent forth
demigods, sacrifices,
a human being to perform the sacrifices. He sent forth all these things. And he said, what did he say? Be thou happy by the sacrifice. And then what will happen?
I forget.
forget.
Bestows all things desirable.
Exactly.
In that video, Ramroy Prabhu quotes that, like, it's like
Yeah.
ingrained into that memory. Remember from the
Yeah,
fundraising
yeah.
video?
You don't have to tell me twice with that one. Yeah. But
The demigods being pleased by sacrifices will also please you.
that's the next verse, right? Devan bhavetani. So I guess 3:10, 3:10. Yeah. Be thou happy by the
In
sacrifice.
the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures sent forth generations of men and demigods along with sacrifices for Vishnu and blessed them by saying, Be thou happy by this yagya.
Be that.
Because this performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation.
There you go. So this is our faith. Where is going? I don't know. I have no clue, but I know it's going to come. I have full faith. I have full faith. And the more we have faith, yadrishi shraddha, siddhir bhavati tadrishi. So the degree that you have faith, to that degree you will attain siddhi. Siddhi means perfection. And there's different degrees of perfection. And to the degree you have faith, to that degree you will attain shraddha. That's siddhi.
Shraddha Shabde.
Shraddha shabde vishwasa kari suddhida and nishchay. Krishna bhakti kale sarva kama krita hoy. I don't know anything else other to do than depend on Kṛṣṇa. I don't know. I have no idea. Is there any other like, maybe, can someone think of it? No, it doesn't exist.
Let me know if you have a
Yeah, let me know if you have better idea. I'll join you right
If
now.
you have- let me
Dude,
know if you
if you
have
have something
better
better, I'll
idea.
join you right now.
Yeah.
Right now, let's go right now. But there is nothing better. We're living the blissful life. This room is so small. We're all in here. The kirtans are so, the whole time I was chanting my japa during the marathon, like, I can't wait to be in the kirtan with the devotees, I just can't wait. And depending on Kṛṣṇa literally translates to what? Depending on the holy name, right? It really, it all translates to what's in that bead bag, It really translates to that. Like, we really have to give it all we got from each other around. Seriously, give it all we got. And Kṛṣṇa always comes. So Kṛṣṇa always provides. I was thinking, my God, ananya shintayantu mam. How many assurances Kṛṣṇa give us, right? Ananya shintayantu mam yejana for. How am I forgetting this verse? Ananya nitya. Wait, don't tell me. This is my favorite verse in the Bhagavad Gita. I need to know it. Ananya shintayantu mam yatantasya didhavrata. No! Whoa, wait. Ananya shintayantu mam yejana paripāsate teṣam nitya abhiyuktānām yogashem vahamyam. I have to know this is my favorite verse. We have to live our life by this verse. We have to learn to fully depend on Kṛṣṇa. Depending on Kṛṣṇa is the highest like that. Who knows what's going to happen? Kṛṣṇa does, but he won't tell you because it won't be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else, Prabhu? Please protect us from Disagreesh's wrath. All right. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Taking over the world with Srila Prabhupada's transcendental book distribution and Dayavarnashram farm communities ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhya shaya kripa.
Naked
Oh, I should have told you about naked pen show.